So for whatever reason, I lost my audio. I don't think we're going to have many people here now. I don't know if it hit something or what, but we didn't have any audio. So now I'm totally embarrassed because I have no audio. I don't even know if my stream is live in the sense that I don't know if people are going to know to switch over. Bad. It's a bad situation. Oh well, it is what it is. Let me check some other things and let me see what happens when I do this. Just a minute. So are we back? Did we get my voice? I don't know what happened. That's really bad. So now no one's going to be on my stream because no one's going to know I changed over. But anyway, whatever. That's the way today's going. So like I said, the 21st consecutive stream. What have I learned? Well, one, be careful when you get up because your microphone will all of a sudden stop working for no reason, even though you tested it before you started. So that's number one. Number two, it's very hard to do a live stream when you can't talk. So, not good. Not a good situation. And now I've got this freaking feedback again. So we'll just fix that. Okay, so that was a disaster. Okay, so what do we got today? Well, it's Sunday. And like as you can tell, tried to be like a little less intense today. I wanted to just like I said, reverent. Like let's be thankful for the things that we have. Let's not be upset about things we can't change. So tough one though. What do we think that we can't change? You can tell I'm playing sick. It's not going well. I mean, the whole thing is disaster today. And you know what? We're gonna plow on through. What else are you gonna do? So, wanted to go over my yesterday, the typical life of a real estate agent. As you know, in my stream, I told you, hey, we're gonna have 2 showings today. We're gonna show one house in Tower Grove South, and we're gonna show another house in the afternoon in Crestwood. And so, 2 different buyers. On my way to the first showing, the buyer for Crestwood canceled. They weren't feeling well. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? So that let me down to 1 showing, and so we went to Tower Grove South. House was maybe 2 blocks off of the park, Tower Grove Park. Asking price was high, in my opinion, very, very high. But we wanted to look at it anyway because they're kind of interested in living in that part of town. And so that's where we went. The house was a converted two family home to a single family. The house was on a corner. I wasn't familiar with the listing agents, never heard of them. Walking in, conversions can be tricky. Sometimes people do them while they're living there. Sometimes people do them wrong. Sometimes people don't do a very good job with the materials. I couldn't argue about any of that stuff with this house. It was a very well done conversion. It had a lot of, for that area, it had a lot of things that that buyers want. A big kitchen. When the houses were built, big kitchens weren't really a thing. So that's one thing. They managed to make the kitchen big. They managed to have a little dining area. A basement wasn't finished, and that's like South City all the way. You wouldn't finish your basement because it would just leak everywhere. It was made of stone at the time. I suspect you could clean it up, but even then you might have low ceilings. What I noticed, a couple things that I noticed though that I don't know if anybody else picked out. One, if you go to the garage, the framing is 2 feet centers, not 16 inches. And then the garage, while painted, is wood, and over the years it has seen better days. I would think that siding might be something that one would want to invest in quickly. And you say, well, the siding's not historically accurate. Well, by the time you pulled the wood off of this, you're going to have a problem because you can see through it clearly now. My buyers have electric cars, so they want a garage, and they're not the electric, like you have to plug it in. It's not a complaint. So my buyers, they're looking in a couple of areas. They're looking in University City. They're looking in Tower Grove South, and there's some similarities between the two. It's not weird, but they like the area. They like the restaurants. They like the idea that they can walk to places, and I kind of think that's cool too. I'm going to take a lot of drinks today. I'm sorry. And I'm going to cut this thing at 10. I'm going to cut the live stream at 10. I'm hurting. 12 minutes in, I'm hurting. So, anyway, we went through the house. They thought the same thing I did. It's a nice house, but the pricing is ridiculous. Now, in this particular part of town, you have a street called Grand. Houses closer to Grand tend to be fixed up a little bit better. There's a little subsection of Tower Grove South that's Tower Grove Heights, like 2 streets that are just massive and beautiful with their homes. You could almost get over there for that price. And I just, down there's Morgan Ford, and by Morgan Ford there's a lot of repairs too. But all in all, nice house. Too expensive. If someone buys it, fine. If we could get in there for like $475, which we're not going to be able to because they're trying to get. They bought the house for $470 maybe 2-3 years ago, and they want to be able to make the commission on it. So we're not gonna be in that situation. So this is the first time where it's like I thought I could do something, on at least in the media space, at least on live streaming, where I thought I could do something, and then now that I'm doing it, it's like this was a terrible idea because you don't really talk and you're coughing all over the place. I don't have the Rona, and I'm gonna get through this, but it's tough. It's tough. I've always wanted this low voice. That's the voice I always wanted. I end up with. I don't think anybody likes their own voice, but I really don't like mine. But anyway, that's what it is, and we'll just we'll deal with it. Let me check my notes. I had something happen to me last night that was just devastating, but so And it's right in order. Let me cough before I start the story. So I have a friend of a friend, and they had expressed over time that they were looking for a new house because they didn't like theirs. So I'd sent them a few listings. They weren't signed up as clients or anything like that. There's one house in particular that came up in their search, and I sent it to them, and I said, give me a call. We'll go take a look. So I got a text back. We're not going to go. We don't need a private show. We're just going to go to the open house. But thanks. So they go to the open house. Well, they like the house, but it's going to be sold. So the buyer, not my client, but the guy that wants to buy a house, starts driving through the neighborhood every day. This is the story that's related to me last night. Driving through the neighborhood every day, and after the open house, this guy says, roll down your window. Hey, I'm selling my house soon. Do you want to buy it? So, of course, my buyer, who's not loyal to me, says, sure, I want to buy it. Now, we were looking at homes that were the max of $400,000. This guy decides he's going to sell his house for like more than $500,000. So $100,000 more than what homes would go for in the area. But because my buyers are not, because I'm going to call them my buyers, but they're not my buyers because we have no relationship other than I sent them a listing and they looked at it. Because my buyers have no idea what they're doing. They think it's a great deal. They also think then the guy says, I don't want you to use a real estate agent. Well, why do you think he doesn't want to use a real estate agent? You say, he wants to save money. No, he's going to screw these people over royally because the price of the house is way too high. Way too high. You can get a much better home for the same price. But I talked to the lady last night, the wife, and she's like, we're going to do it. We're going to buy this house. And, sucks for you. It does suck for me. It sucks for me significantly. They said I could list their house. We'll see. I'll probably be too expensive for them. And that's the kind of thing I like in real estate. So I'm too expensive to use as a buyer's agent, and then I'm too expensive to use as the seller's agent. But they're buying a $500,000 house. So we'll call it the aftermath. So when I heard this story, what did I do? Well, was I mad at the people? No, because when you look at the situation, you already know that they're not interested in the right deal. They're interested in the house. They're interested in they're being conned by this guy. It happens all the time in real estate. So do I feel like I should have done something differently? Well, what would I have done differently? Should I be mean to them and like curse at them and give them dirty looks the rest of my life? No. Can I be sad? Yeah, I can be sad. And I am. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. Not angry. Would it have helped to represent them on the old pocketbook? Absolutely. Absolutely. But as we go through life, we just know there's going to be disappointments. Well, disappointments don't pay the bills, John. Well, that's true. That's true. I've just found over my career that there's always going to be times when things don't go well. At least in my career. And, this was one of those times. It just didn't go well. It wasn't a good thing. The best thing that I can do is put it out of my mind 100%. How do you handle disappointment? That's kind of how you do it in real estate. You're not going to get every listing. You're not going to get every buyer's. You're not going to get every buyer. Buyers you have aren't always going to buy a house. People are going to move. People are going to, all sorts of things are going to happen to you. Last night, somebody said, "Well, how can you not be angry about this?" And it's like you get enough arrows in the back, and you stop really worrying about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's in my own nature. The way I would best handle disappointment, myself is sit in a dark room, watch some television for a couple days, and not talk to anybody. But that's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. So we just go on. It's okay. It happened. It's going to happen again. There's always going to be disappointments with real estate. We move on. Now, I looked at my whiteboard where I keep my, keep some sort of a tab on my buyers and sellers, and they weren't even on there. Would it have helped? Yes. But you know what? You got to position yourself in this business to where when you have disappointments, you have enough business that's going to get you through. So losing this opportunity isn't going to keep me from being able to buy groceries. I'm still going to be able to pay my bills. It hurts. But that's the way the world works sometimes. And I, I've often thought, well, why don't you go work for a developer? Why don't you go and get a paycheck even when a development fails, you can still make money? And my answer to that is, I started this brokerage because I wanted to help people. And, this was a number of years ago. And if people don't want help, okay, then they don't. All there is to it. Say, well, you could make a lot more money. I could. But this is the life that I've chosen. It goes back to the discussion we've had many times is, what is a good agent? Is a good agent someone that treats their clients right, or is a good agent someone that makes enough money in the business that they can live their life and go about things? It just depends on the metric. So, disappointed? Yes. Angry? No. Will I get over it? Yes. Did talking about it on a live stream help? Probably. The whole world can see now that I lost a deal. And if you're an agent and you don't think I did something right, put it down, put it in the live stream, put it in the comment section afterwards. I get all the notifications for that. I wanted to go over a topic that isn't on the list, and that's, I've been watching this guy that's a live streamer, and he came over from Twitch, and he does really, really well. And his thing is, oh, well, you can do well too. You don't need any skill at all. Just you're fine. And he's singing the praises about YouTube. Now, here's what I don't know. Is he being paid by YouTube in a special agreement to be on YouTube and leave Twitch? Or stream exclusively to Twitch? You're not allowed to stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I can stream to Odyssey at the same time, but Odyssey won't give me any sort of direction on how to get my stream set up. So that's no good. But anyway, I had 200 impressions last night for 2 videos. Well, 1 live stream and 1 video. 200 impressions. That guy probably had 100,000 or more, maybe even 1 million. So people are going to see his video. But does YouTube change the algorithm so that his video gets seen and mine doesn't? Because they're paying him. I don't know, but is that something that they should say? So we accept that YouTube's manipulating the searches based on an algorithm. But we also know that they manipulate, so if a trusted source puts out a video, they rank it higher than if someone isn't a trusted source. So if a citizen journalist films something outside, their content isn't going to be ranked, even if they license the content to a major news outlet. That video will be shown higher than theirs, even though they took the original video. It's not, has YouTube done things wonderfully for a lot of people? I think so. Have they done some bad things? Yes. But why am I at 200 impressions? And you say, well, your content's not that great. Well, gosh, have you seen some of the content on YouTube? Not that bad. I'll be honest with you. I'm not doing that bad compared to some of this other stuff. I don't know. The biggest problem, I think, in myself is I don't have an established brand. So many of the people that I watch have an established brand, and the ones that don't have just been doing YouTube since before YouTube got crazy. And I think that matters. I mean, how many people are jumping into YouTube now versus how many people, were here like 8 years ago? I told you that I wanted to stream started. Well, not stream, but I wanted to do videos like 2 years ago, and it took me, I went through a pandemic. I went through all kinds of stuff before I could actually get to a spot where I could make videos. So I was a little disappointed with the 200. Now, is there anything I can look at in the data that can indicate that this is normal? Well, last Friday night I also had 200. I had thousands of impressions before that. It would not be unusual for me to get 1,000 impressions or more. But now 200 is like the base. But it's really sad. And why? Like, why? And so here it is. John, why do you continue to stream? I like it. It gives me an outlet. It gives me a chance to talk to more people than if I just called everybody on the phone. Why do you make videos? Well, I like that too. Sometimes I think I can help people by making videos. You say, well, it's not going good, John. Not going well. I got picked up a subscriber yesterday. I know that some people will pick up hundreds of subscribers overnight. It's not been the case. I think that one of the strange wiring that I have is I'm a very positive person. I'm a very optimistic person. But it kind of screws things up. So when I got on YouTube, I was like, I think I'll do okay. Based on what I've seen, I think I'll do okay. Well, I had no idea that, a built-in audience would have been very, very helpful. I had no idea that that the impressions would be so low. I mean, to put it in perspective, I've had the YouTube channel for Deerwood Realty since 2016. I just started making videos in July. We just had our 100th podcast episode yesterday. So I'm a very new channel. I mean, relative to my content. Before that, we used to do listing videos, but that has changed over time. Let me get a drink. But anyway, there are more impressions on that dude's live stream last night than I have had in my entire time I've owned the channel. That's tough. That's tough. So that's what I was thinking. I wanted to go over a Google trend, and I thought that was interesting. The Google trend today is pertinent to YouTube. Here we go. Oh, because I restarted it. It'll be here. You watch. I'll fix it. I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay. This had 500,000 views or more on Google search yesterday. It says, YouTube loses ABC, ESPN, and other Disney channels after failing to reach a deal. We worked hard to avoid this. Now, if you're upset with me for using the Washington Post as a source, that's fine. I don't really care. It says, all Disney-owned content. That's a great advertisement. All Disney-owned content, including ABC and ESPN, went dark on YouTube TV late Friday after breakdown in distribution negotiations between Disney and Google. The financial dispute between the media giants over carriage fees had led to the first major blackout for Google-owned YouTube TV. Which has more than 3 million subscribers and is one of the nation's largest internet pay TV services. Disney and Google, whose parent company is Alphabet, were unable to reach a new deal by 11/59. We worked hard to avoid this, but were unable to reach a fair deal with Disney. We regret that as of December 17th, all Disney-owned channels are unavailable on YouTube TV. Content affected by the lapsed agreement includes ABC-owned television stations, ESPN networks, and Disney channels. Freeform, the FX networks, and National Geographic channels have also been removed. YouTube TV announced that it would cut its monthly subscription rate by $15 while Disney content is off the air, going from $64 to $49. Now, I have Hulu. I pay like $90 a month. It's ridiculous. I wanted to... I would like to say this. I don't watch sports all that much. And if it's not on the main networks, I really don't care. I think there should be a package for people that don't want to watch all these sports and pay for all this. I did like sports a long time ago. I mean, I would have paid extra to watch it. But now that I don't really want to pay for the service. I mean, it would lower the cost so much for people. So that's just me. A Disney spokesperson told the Washington Post that Google was to blame for costing their subscribers access to our unrivaled portfolio of networks, including live sports and TV news. Well, what is the Disney spokesperson supposed to say? Are they supposed to say that it's our fault? I mean, I'm kind of getting irritated by spokespersons that don't really help. We've been in ongoing negotiations with the Google YouTube TV, and unfortunately, they have declined to reach a fair deal with us based on market terms and conditions. We stand ready to reach an equitable agreement with Google as quickly as possible in order to minimize the inconvenience to YouTube TV viewers by restoring our networks. We hope Google will join us in that effort. So this is just garbage. The two sides being able to reach a mega deal is the latest wrinkle in the streaming wars among media titans, buying and stockpiling content, a multi-billion-dollar arms race to keep customers tuned into their platform for the long haul. And that's just it. Don't kid yourself. Multi-billion dollars. Okay? And they're paying these athletes all this money. The owners are raking in cash. Washington Post doesn't have to worry about making money. They're okay. I mean, it's everything we see is controlled by multi-billion-dollar organizations. These are two billionaires fighting. And should we care? Well, we're the ones that don't get to watch the television, but we're also the ones that allowed them to do this in the first place. YouTube TV surpassed 3 million subscribers as of late 2020. Since then, some financial analysts believe that subscription number has now eclipsed 4 million, which would make it the largest internet TV delivered bundle. Now, I like the idea of YouTube TV. There was a lot there to like, but I was in it when it was like $39. And then when I tested it out and I had to use my Gmail address account to log in so they could take all that data from me and combine it with all the data in my email and everything else, I just felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable also because my children were going to have to log in under their own names. And, you know, it's bad enough that they're being exploited at school with their Gmail accounts for school. It's bad enough that they have to watch garbage on social media on their phones. But then for me as a parent to go the additional step and say, now you need to sell your data to these people from now to the end of time, just so we can watch cheap TV, which after a while didn't become cheap TV because it ended up costing almost as much as Hulu. You know, I said no. Maybe that makes me a bad person. Disney acknowledged Monday that its distribution deal with Google was set to expire, but that the company was optimistic a deal could be done. YouTube claimed in a blog post this week that Disney had demanded higher fees for its TV networks than services of a similar size pay. Well, they just disagree on the numbers, but what I wanted you to understand is in negotiations, they waited till the last moment. They were waiting for someone to blink. Neither side's going to blink. They're not going to back off. Disney's not backing off, and Google's not backing off. Now, will public outcry on Google force them to make a make a change. Let's look at this in a different outlet. Do you remember the NFL went on? They put their referees on strike, and then the journalists that were union, much of the media were like, "Oh, these are horrible referees, and look at these bad decisions." And so they tricked the NFL into getting these referees back right away. It was after a game in Seattle where there was a blown call. Now, is this similar in the sense that, like, we're going to have outcry from people demanding that Google just pay the money and get this stuff back? I don't know. It says Disney is an important partner for us. Our ask of Disney, as with all of our partners, is to treat YouTube TV like any other TV provider, providing us the same rates that services of a similar size pay across Disney's channels for as long as we carry them. YouTube TV also told its subscribers that if a deal were unable to come together, you can consider signing up for their own service, the Disney Bundle, which they offer for $13.99 a month. And that's just it. Disney ESPN wants to have their own streaming service, ABC. Let them. $13.99 a month. My stepson has had it, but we had ESPN on ours. So the only thing we're missing is Disney. I'm 44 years old. I'm not watching Disney. I'd say in my lifetime, one of the companies that's really taken a hit when their reputation has been Disney. We used to think they were a lovable company, creating wonderful characters, and over time, looks like they're kind of a sinister company. Now, it's not the first time this year that Google has had a standoff with a media company over distribution. In the fall, Google's deal with NBC Universal's cable networks and local NBC stations was set to expire. The companies were able to reach a new agreement quickly. A similar disagreement was resolved last week with Roku over differences in distribution terms for YouTube and YouTube TV apps. I like my Roku. I don't know what the cost is involved with the YouTube TV app, but I like to have YouTube on Roku. I also have a NVIDIA Shield for my big screen TV, and I like it as well. I don't feel too bad because it runs on Android, so I don't feel like Google will ever fight that, but who knows? The impasse between Disney and YouTube TV has the potential to benefit Disney in the lucrative world of live sports. One of YouTube TV's direct competitors, and perhaps its most serious, is Hulu Plus Live TV, which is controlled and majority owned by Disney. Did you know that? Hulu had 4 million live TV subscribers as of September. When the deal lapsed at midnight, YouTube TV subscribers were watching the Friday night NBA game between apologies. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves were surprised and confused as to why the broadcast had gone black in the middle of the game. And that's how you know they don't care about you. Neither side cares about you in any way. You're just a pawn on their chessboard. Other cord cutters were frustrated that they had to scramble to sign in for a new service to watch dozens of college football games in the coming weeks. Well, I had no idea this many people use YouTube TV to watch sports, tweeted some person. As a public service, I will live tweet every bowl game to ease your pain and suffering. I'd be livid if I couldn't watch the bowl games today. Well, you can. You just got to dump Google and watch it on Hulu or some other program. Many agreed that the timing of the lapse deal could not be worse for sports ban. The only reason why people buy a streaming service like yours, after cord cutting is for sports, tweeted writer, stop emailing me and get the bowl games back. Well, that's been the issue the whole time. I don't need sports. I like a streaming service. They don't let you pay pay for the ones you want. Because I pay for like 3 apps. My bill would be like $4. But I subsidize all these other people with my bill. It's not fair. I don't know which political side will use that argument to their benefit. Why should I be subsidizing other people? I don't know if it's that or if it's a right view or a left view, but I just know that it's happening. So that's where I'm at on that. Let's get into some listings today. Phoenix, Arizona. Have you ever been? I've never been to Phoenix. I've been to New Mexico, and I loved it. I loved it in the sense that it was nice to visit. I don't think I'd want to live there. I don't know where I want to live, but I'm kind of here in St. Louis, and I'm kind of used to it. I don't know that I like Four Seasons anymore. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look. First listing for sale, $12 million. Kind of 1 acre lot. It's been on the market 107 days. It was built in 2022. These are renderings. I'm not interested. Second one is a new construction. Don't care. Third one is a real one. Let's look at it. Been on the market 270 days. I looked at this house during my Case of the Mondays podcast stream. Nice. But I don't want to see it again. And I'm sure all of you were watching it too. So let's just not. This looks like a hotel. This architecture does not appeal to me. I've looked at all these houses, in fact. Let's look at this one. $6 million. 3-car garage built in 1985. Has been on the market 22 days. 26 pictures. This is what I feel like is the way to do it. Nice pool. Nice curb appeal. To me, this is not the first picture of the house. Bad idea. This is the first picture of the house. Let me see what it looks like. Or that one. This is good. So we're walking into the house. Great. Okay. Now it automatically jumped into a bedroom. I don't know if we're on the second floor or the first floor. Now we're in the backyard. Do any people really understand how many agents? Again, this person got a $6 million listing. I don't have a $6 million listing. They did it right on the pictures with 26. But don't you understand that people want to kind of walk through the house in a certain order? Now I'm outside. It's a nice outside living area. Now I'm back inside. Now this has been in the market for 22 days. It's probably going to sell sometime. This is an interesting ceiling. It's just not the way I would do it. Where's the video? What are they getting for their money as a listing agent? Like, what are they getting? There's the kitchen. Now I guess we're in the basement. Now we're back outside in the dark. Oh, now we can we're looking over the golf course. Now we're in a room. Now we're in another room. We just have no context. I got nothing. Now we're back out in this room. Now $6 million listing. You're paying for that. Maybe it's written down better. The stately gated compound is located in the prestigious Biltmore Estates Circle, overlooking the Adobe Golf Course with incredible views of Camelback Mountain and the Phoenix Mountain Preserve. The Clive Christian Kitchen offers Sub-Zero and Wolf appliances, imported Italian marble, and butcher block island opening to a resort-style backyard. Well, maybe show that to me with respect to the listing. Pictures. The outdoor entertainer's oasis is complete with an oversized patio, full outdoor kitchen, pool foundation, and gazebo. Pool fountain and gazebo. The property features 2 guest houses, including 8 beds, 11 baths, and a custom elevator on over an acre lot. Did you see the elevator? The primary suite overlooks views of Camelback Mountain, which we've already said, and offers we know that the property does, but anyway, offers a stunning bathroom with dual vanities and an expansive walk-in closet. Experience living within walking distance to world-class shopping, dining in the Arizona Biltmore Resort. Okay. Well, let's look at some property history. What do we got here? Ugh. So, 2019, listing removed, which means it was listed. Listed again in 2019, March or April. Listed again in November. Listed again in November. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Phoenix, Arizona, architecture, and John Shink from the Midwest not doing well together. We're going to get, I'm not interested in it, so I'm going to head out. Now, those of you who are interested in the architecture, good for you. It's important to have diversity in design. I think it's great that there's a artistic expression for a location. You know, these are modern looking homes, a lot of curves, different building materials than what I would see in the Midwest. So, good. Great. Let's go over another story. I don't know how to preface this. How do I preface this? Well, one morning, and I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I've been reading the news, like, as you know I do. And it was in my local thing, and it says Missouri should ban love letters. I say, what? What is a love letter? Well, a love letter is that letter that a buyer writes to the seller that says, hey man, I'd really like to buy your house. We're so thankful you're selling it, and we want to just let you know we'd be wonderful caretakers of the home. We're not going to disembowel goats on the living room floor. We're going to raise our kids here, and it's going to be wonderful. Well, you can't do that. Why? Well, it's the chance of what is the word? Discrimination. What do you mean discriminating? Well, you could know that the person writing you is black, and so you may not want to sell your house to a black person. You say, what? Why wouldn't I want? I just want the most money for my house, but I also want my house to go to a good person. I feel like if I own this house, I should be able to sell it to whomever I want to. No. You can't do that. You have to sell it without a letter. Well, I don't want to sell it without a letter. I like the fact that buyers care enough about my home to try and sway me to choose them. Well, you can't do that because the communication is bad. It could be construed as racist. Now, not just racist, but sexist and anyists, except optimist. So, well, is this really the problem, like in real estate right now? Are people being denied the opportunity to purchase homes because of their race, sex, color, creed? I don't know. I didn't think this was the most... Banning love letters is not, to me, the most pressing problem in real estate. Like, why are we doing this? I don't know. Let me just go over, let me go over something that I think might be helpful in this particular arena. I have sellers, okay? When there's an offer that comes over, they will get on Facebook and look up the people's names. They will go on their Facebook, they will go on any social media, and they will find out everything they can about these people. There is no law that prohibits this. They will not tell me, even if someone was going to be racist, they are not going to tell me that they're like, we're going to choose these people because we prefer a white America, or we prefer a black America. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. And so this idea of the real estate love letter ban is ridiculous. As far as actually solving problems in the world, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You should be ashamed for putting forth a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Government overreach is what I would say. Now, understand, I don't want anyone to be racially profiled. I don't want anyone to be denied a home because of their sexual orientation. No, that's not what I want. But this is not going to solve the problem. It's just another rule, and it kind of takes some of the fun out of being a home buyer. But anyway, Oregon put forth the first law. This organization sued. And so let's just go over the lawsuit. Well, let's just go over their website. Now, this is biased. These are the people bringing suit, okay? And then I have a USA Today article discussing it. It says, at a time when home sales have become a cutthroat business, every bargaining chip matters to buyers, sellers, and the real estate companies in between. That's true. Prospective buyers commonly use so-called love letters to move sellers' hearts and sales in their directions. Yes, and you have to be careful. When you say, hey, I love your house, and I'll just buy it, and it's the most wonderful thing ever. What happens when you have an inspection and you find something wrong? Are you going to go back and say, hey, I love your house, but we found this wrong, and now we don't want it? Anyway, that might happen. These conversations give less privileged buyers a chance at their dream home, which might otherwise be out of reach, while helping sellers ensure their homes are well loved. That's exactly true. It's exactly true. Buying a home is not like buying a pair of pants. It can be a highly personal and emotional transaction for buyers and sellers. Such letters help ensure that all of these other factors are taken into account. I agree with that. These letters are also integral to the work of the Oregon-based Total Real Estate Group, a mid-sized real estate firm with brokers throughout Oregon and southern Washington. As many as 75% of the firm's offers have some form of love letter or broker-written cover letter that allows buyers to go beyond the financial offers to tell sellers why they love a home and how they'll use it. Now, you got to write a good letter. You don't want to write things that might anger people because you're trying to get the house. Should you lie on your love letter? I don't know that there's any laws against that. But, if you're into some weird stuff, probably leave it out of the letter. You say, well, that's discriminatory against people that like weird stuff. I understand what you're saying. But, if you're using this as a competition to get a house, you need to do the best you can. As one of the firm's brokers put it, without a love letter, it feels like an incomplete offer. Well, I advise against love letters. Don't get me wrong. The most awesome love letter I ever got for a seller was one that was written as the family dog. And it had a picture of the dog. They were $16,000 below what we sold the house for. But I liked it. I could have been anti-dog, though. My seller could have been anti-dog, and then at that point in time, we'd sell it to somebody that liked cats in their love letter. Anyway. And they work. These letters often prompt sales below a seller's asking price and can reach many first-time homeowners and give sellers peace of mind that their home ends up carrying in the hands rather than the hands of an out-of-the-house house-flipping investor or developer. They can write love letters, too. Unfortunately, with a love letter, a transaction is illegal in Oregon, the first state in the nation to ban such communication between home buyers and home sellers. In fact, under the new law, brokers who pass along anything other than standard price and deal terms to sellers could face fines or the loss of their license. The law's supporters, which I would really like to see a list of supporters, and I mean by numbers, okay? I'd like to see the people that support this versus the people that are absolutely against this. Can't do it, but I'd like to see it. I don't need their names, okay? Just give me the numbers. The law's supporters claim these types of letters could include identifying information about race, sex, religion, or familial status and lead to discrimination. And what did I tell you at the beginning? This is already being done. This is not going to help anything. People are smart enough to look on Facebook or Google to find out about people, okay? It's 2021. This may have worked in 1960, but right now this is really stupid. These supporters, however, could not point to a single confirmed example of the problem, and that's just it. We all know that racism, sexism, all these things are hidden. They're hidden from us, hidden from view. Why is it hidden? Because people are ashamed of what they do, and they should be. You should not be discriminating against people. Even if they could, the Federal Fair Housing Act already prohibits discrimination based on protected classes without an overly burdensome ban on speech. Love letters typically involve speech that is neither misleading nor unlawful. I don't know. The First Amendment protects exactly these sorts of conversations. The government simply cannot ban valuable speech because it might, in some cases, violate anti-discrimination laws. Well, what about, based on this, what about the National Association of Realtors social media policy or anti-discrimination policies that they've got, or anti-speech policies they've got in place right now? For now, brokers are self-censoring, but they're also fighting back. Represented free of charge by the Pacific Legal Foundation, the Total Real Estate Group is challenging Oregon's love letter ban in federal court to restore their right to speak freely without irrational government censorship. Okay, let's go to USA Today. They've written about this. Oregon slapped with lawsuit over love letter ban in hot real estate market. Well, if it was a shitty real estate market, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Would you still have a lawsuit over the love letter ban? I think you would. Real estate firm seeks to block a new Oregon law that bans real estate agents from forwarding love letters. A lawsuit filed in federal court alleges that the state's ban of communications violates the First Amendment rights of real estate brokers and their clients. The censorship is based on mere speculation that sellers might sometimes rely on information in these letters to discriminate based on a protective class. The Attorney General puts their head in the sand. The real estate commissioner put their head in the sand because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Of all the problems in the world, love letters for homes is the biggest problem for these people. Oregon is the first state to ban the practice. Also, congratulations, you beat California for putting in a law that's absolutely ridiculous. Congratulations. Under the law, real estate agents will not be allowed to pass along personal pitches from buyers that can include details about people's lives, along with photographs and videos. Now, I don't know how you put a video in a letter. But anyway, you send an email, but that's kind of weird. Buyers will still be allowed to communicate directly with home sellers. Oh, well, thank you. That's so you can get rid of the real estate agents altogether. In hot markets where multiple bidders jockey for the same house, buyers will do just about anything to get their offer noticed, and that includes writing love letters in hopes of making a good personal connection with a seller. That's exactly right. Increasingly, the real estate industry has grown uneasy that love letters could violate state and federal fair housing laws by revealing the buyer's race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, national origin, marital status, or familial status. Many real estate agents refuse to accept or deliver them. I don't. It might be against the law now in Missouri. I haven't looked. I know they were fighting for it here to make it illegal, but I got a bunch of them last time. So was everybody breaking the law? I don't know. But again, think about this. If you write on the contract 2 men's names, 2 women's names, the sellers might figure out something's different. Okay? Or it might be just mother and daughter. Who knows? Okay? But when they look up Facebook, I suspect they'll figure it out. Maybe they're not on Facebook. Maybe they're not on Google search. Well, then good for them. Good for them. I'd like to not be on any of those platforms as well. I mean, this is crazy. Democrat Rep. Mark Meek, who sponsored the legislation, told USA Today in August that Oregon is not impeding free speech. We're limiting, now this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen written. We're not impeding free speech. We are limiting transmission of communications that are not relevant and could potentially be breaking fair housing laws. What are you talking about? Limiting transmission of communications is impeding free speech. And how do you know they're not relevant? It's very relevant who wants to buy a house. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. This person, I mean, of all the problems in Oregon and all the problems of the world, this guy found a problem that's just ridiculous. Seriously, now we can't write letters. Why don't we ban email because somebody might write something offensive in an email and send it to someone? Just stupid. Don't even get me started. Love letters can help first-time homebuyers compete with cash-rich buyers or institutional investors and can help sellers searching for buyers who will care for their homes and be good neighbors. A little dicey on the good neighbors thing because you never know. The letters signal genuine interest in the property. That's true. Lawyer says the law's proponents have not produced any examples of fair housing complaints or lawsuits as a result of love letters. It's 100% true. This is a solution in search of a problem. There is no evidence that it is a real estate problem that's really resulting in discrimination. No, but you know what? Of all the things wrong, you can normally pass really stupid laws that no one's paying attention to. And this is one of those. It's like a bunch of people got together and say, hey, this could be discriminatory. Could be. Yeah. Do you think anybody will care if we'll write it? No. It'd just be the real estate agents, and they don't care. But they're not going to come back and fight us. Okay, we'll pass it. You can't just go ban whole types of communication in the fear that some small portion of it might somehow be used by someone. It's 100% right. The backlash against love letters is part of an industry-wide reckoning with its complicity in decades of housing discrimination and segregation that kept Black Americans from home ownership. I don't know anything about that. I was born in 1977. Okay? I really don't. I'm really sorry if it happened. I just don't know. In 2019 Newsday, again, I have nothing about this, published the findings of a 3-year undercover investigation that exposed discriminatory home selling practices by real estate agents that helped keep neighborhoods in Long Island, New York, segregated. Agents treated people of color unequally, especially Black residents, the investigation found. Now, I don't know the methodology for that study. I don't know anything about it. If they found stuff and it was legit, shame on them. Shame on them. Were all these people using love letters? Efforts to reform racist practices and increase Black ownership intensified after the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Because George Floyd didn't have a home? Last year, the National Association of Realtors warned members love letters were not harmless as they seem, but as stratospheric prices, record low housing inventory fuel bidding wars because of government low interest rates manufactured. But let's not talk about that and pretend, and let's just act that that's not heaven. Love letters are more popular than ever. Realtors say they don't want to put their buyers at a disadvantage in competitive situations by refusing to pass them along. That's correct. You're representing a buyer to buy a house, and you're going to sit there and screw up the deal because you're not going to put in a love letter where it could make a difference? How are you working for your clients in that case? Besides, they said sellers are swayed first and foremost by offering price and terms. 100% right. But boy, if you have a letter there, that makes it even nicer. But the right words can be persuasive. That's right. In 2019, Redfin, which is, it is what it is, studied the most effective strategies to win a bidding war. All cash offers more than tripled the buyer's odds. We've talked about all cash offers in the past. Writing a love letter came in second, increasing buyers' chances by 59%. Good luck on that statistic and really getting a good number. Balderdash. Ridiculous. I lost out on a buyer's opportunity yesterday. If I would have written a love letter, would it have gotten me in a spot? No. Bad part of the business. My buyer says, hey, John, I want this house really bad. I only have so much money. What if we write a love letter? You think that will help? Yeah. What other chance do you have if you don't have the money? Well, they're going to find it. What if I'm representing someone that's gay? Okay. Am I going to say, oh, don't write a love letter? Don't write a love letter because you're gay. No. Right? If the people are racist, they're racist. If they're sexist, they're sexist. That's on them. That's not on you as the buyer. Call it out. Hard to prove. Get out there. If you are denied, say the seller's this racist homophobe, okay? You don't want to live in their house anyway. Just let them suffer. And say, well, they're not going to suffer. They're going to sell a house and make a lot of money. Well, okay. But you don't want to be around those people. Just avoid it. And say, I have a right to buy this home. Well, yeah, sure. So does the other 30 people that wrote offers. It isn't worth it. If someone's going to discriminate against you based on a love letter, when they can already look you up on Facebook, It's not worth it. It's not worth it. This was terrible. This was a terrible idea. People that wrote it should be ashamed. Ashamed. What were you trying to accomplish? Like, you're gonna go to your grave and say, "This is my accomplishment. I solved a problem that didn't exist," or "I solved a problem that even if it existed, this isn't the issue." Ridiculous. All right, that's what I have for you today. We made it through. The voice. I mean, it was a tough opening. Okay, no one's gonna lie about that. I'm embarrassed. I'll do better. I don't know why my microphone stopped, and I don't know why I had all that feedback. But we plowed through. 21 consecutive live streams in the book. Thank you for watching. Write something in the comment section. Let's have some fun with this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think that love letters are the worst thing ever. Not Big Pharma. Anyway, it's been fun. I've got to go cry about my lost opportunity to represent those buyers.